So first, introductions. I would like all of our board members to stand up and introduce themselves. I think we'll start with Brenda and Amber over there.
So I'm Brenda Rates, and I'm a member at large. And I recently, within 2 weeks ago, retired as a market manager.
I'm Amber Pena. I'm the new market manager. I was just a volunteer last year, so I've got a steep learning curve, but I'm excited to keep working with the market.
I'm Teresa Morton, I'm Vice President. Anita.
I'm Anita Riley, and I'm a vendor member of the board, so with Back Yonder Farm.
Beth?
Oh, yep. I'm Beth Johnson. I'm a secretary of the board.
Okay.
I'm Heidi and this is Tim, and we are new vendor board members, and we do the beef part at market with all the livestock.
I'm Kim Tennell, Max, my husband, and we're the president of the board. Thank you.
Okay. And then we have special guests, Kirk Martin with the Pettis County Health Department, and then Jeff Root. I think Jeff is back in the room there, getting some scales squared away. But I would like to now take the opportunity to have everyone else go around and introduce themselves, our vendors and potential vendors. If you could give us your names, where you're from, and what you hope to sell at the market in 2023, that would be terrific. So Marley, how about we start with you? Please, yes.
I am Marley Dodson. I have Mulberry Bottoms Farm. This will be my second year at the Sedalia Farmers Market. I make traditional sourdough bread. I grow my own houseplants and vegetable plants to sell at the market, produce, and I make salves, lip balm, and soap from products from my farm. We have a dairy cow, bees, so they supply a lot of ingredients for those products.
I'm Paul Bird. I have Black Arrow Family Farms, and we're hoping to do the pork for here, I guess.
And where are you all from?
Blackwater.
Blackwater. Thank you.
I'm Whitney Brown. I'm from Green Ridge, and I hope this year to sell fresh cut flowers.
I'm Gloria Sherman. This is my first time here, and I was going to sell pottery. And I'm from Clinton.
All right.
We're Briella and Davide. We're originally from Sedalia, and we're hoping to be selling authentic Italian baked goods.
Marissa?
I'm Marissa. My vendor business name is Dolce Di Marchi, and I also bake Italian things. And last year I was at the market just kind of periodically. I hope to come as a regular vendor this season, and I also make the macarons and sourdough bread and some other things too. So.
We are Carmen Farm. This is my husband Eugene. My name is Ellen. And we will be selling all kinds of vegetables. I'll have asparagus and green onions, rhubarb in the early season, and later we'll have tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, and I don't know what else. And later in the fall we have mums, lots of mums, and possibly some pumpkins and sweet potatoes. And I bake pies and cinnamon rolls and fruit sweet rolls and lots of jam fills.
And honey and sorghum and
honey and
nuts
sorghum.
Okay, Marla.
I'm Marla Steppich, half of Flowers and Friends with my daughter. We make soft doll babies, and I've been with the market for like 6-7 years, and
I don't think I've ever had any return merchandise, so I guess they're doing okay. We also want to start, I know we kind of did it in the middle last year, but my daughter has some paintings and she whittles wands out of twigs. She said she wants to sell those this year, so that's what we got.
I'm Ken Crawford with Kent's Town Gardens. I grow, sell different kind of produce. So sell and boards and other stuff.
And his love Joyce.
From the Idaho area.
Lincoln and Elizabeth Moore, got Sissy Girl Acres from Smithton, Missouri. First time here, plan on selling just produce, maybe tomatoes, cucumbers, stuff like that. Goat milk soap, lip balm, lotion, and about it.
Maybe baked goods.
Oh yeah,
Unless
baked
you all
goods.
beat us to it.
Yeah, baked goods. I mean, that kind of encompasses a lot, but I think cupcakes, cake pops. Was going to do macaroons, but I think you beat us to it. But that's it.
Thank you. Just right behind you.
My name is Josh. It's my first year here, and we wanted to do produce and eggs, and we do starter plants, house plants. Just trying to do a variety of stuff, just new to it and want to learn.
We are Joe and Marty Yoder. We're from Lincoln, and we sell fried pies.
Yes,
Michelle and Jay O'Donnell, and we're new to it, we're just learning. Probably gonna sell barbecue sauce, and haven't got a garden growing yet, but want to go towards that, and house starter plants. From Smithton.
Anita?
Anita Riley, and this is my daughter-in-law Shauna, and we're backyard farmers from down at Cole Camp, and we do pasture-raised, certified naturally grown chicken and eggs, turkeys, produce. We used to do the pork, no longer do that, and baked goods, mostly cookies. Shiitake mushrooms.
Those are our cookies up there.
Kind of.
And pumpkins.
And pumpkins, yeah, all that kind of stuff.
Hi, my name is Karen Summers. I own Fork in the Road. It's a food truck here in town. I kind of went through I did potential vendor and tried it out last year, and one delay after another. Finally, when I was up and running, I was like, okay, it's almost over this year, so I'm gonna do repeat and get in, and now I've got it all together. But we do kind of a seasonal menu changes every 2 weeks to a month. So it can be, usually has pasta, international dish. We do crepes, and then kind of a mom and pop diner dish. It's a categorized menu that changes for every
Yeah, I'm Carol Rodriguez, and I own Get Drizzled Custom Wine Drizzle. I make wine reduction sauces. We grow all of our fruits except for the tropicals. I don't have a pineapple plant yet, or a mango tree, but those are on my to-do list for someday. And we also make whiskey reduction sauces that are wonderful on the grill. And new this year, I just met with Dave Hemme of Hemme Brothers Cheese. And so I'm going to be handling that for him at the market. And I also planted, I've got some baby beets that are about 2 inches tall. And so I'm hoping to be able to have some beets available for some fresh produce. So that's pretty much it.
Thank you, Carol.
My name is Josh, and my wife's name is Kittery. We are from Otterville. Our farm is both family farmstead. This will be our first year here. We're hoping to sell cut flowers, jellies, jams, eggs, and produce.
Nice to meet you. I'm Angie Hess, my husband Matthew Hess, and we're with Beulah Valley Farm. This will be our second year. We sell produce and gluten-free breads. Oh, and eggs, yeah.
Wonderful. Well, the good news is we found a microphone. The bad news is there's no batteries. So. Stay tuned. I would like to welcome Kirk Martin from the Pettis County Health Department. I would just like to say that we have worked with Kirk for, I'm not sure how many years now, but he is wonderful to work with. He is somebody that tries to find a way to say yes to you. He wants to help you keep our customers safe, your customers safe, and find avenues for you to accomplish what it is that you're trying to do with the market, but also keeping everybody safe. So he will come and visit us every now and then. It is not to define you or harass you, exactly, or harass you. He is looking for ways to make us a better market. So we love working with Kirk, and thank you for all you do, Kirk.
He also loves to come to the market to shop, so sometimes he's not there just to look at your stuff. Right. So he's there to shop.
Man, it's an expensive day when I feel bad buying one and not the other. Up here on the platform, I have a few documents. Just in all fairness, I got a text this afternoon about 2 or 3 o'clock that said, "Hey, you're going to be there tonight, right?" I'm like, "Huh?" So, and then somewhere there's a box that I usually have prepared full of a bunch of documents. I have a little PowerPoint. I got a copy of it. I have some stuff on the farmer's market. This one here is probably the one that everybody will be seeking. It deals with canning, salsas, barbecue sauces, the do's and the don'ts that you can and can't do, the different styles of canning that, unfortunately, we'll get into that a little bit more, but there's a class that you have to take if you get out of the jams and jellies. That's called a special process review. It was through the funnest days of my life. Better like biology. Lots of it. But anyway, this document here, which if you open it up, it looks more like this once you get into the second page, and it goes through all the different types of stuff that people like to put in a bottle. I have a copy of the Senate bill, which most of you know as the cottage law, and I also have a revision to the cottage law. If you don't know it, they've taken the dollar cap off of the cottage law, and they've also allowed you to start selling on the internet. And those of you that have been selling on the internet, you weren't supposed to be. There may be a few other things, but those are the 2 primary things that they've changed to the cottage law. I have another document up here on salsa, and I also have the Pettis County ordinance that kind of governs food-related products. I'm going to jump up here now. Where is it? Or is it better to do that? All right. So we're going to go through a real quick food safety program. Foodborne illnesses are preventable. We got to handle the right stuff properly and clean environments, clean hands, and eliminate cross-contamination are the primary reasons that we would have a foodborne illness. So processing food, I'm going to jump around a little bit because this is designed for a restaurant, and I'm going to try to bring it back to the farmer's market. Vegetables, you get 1 cut on the vegetable unless you have a kitchen that is an approved kitchen. and that cut is from the vine. Sampling watermelon and stuff, there's no core in it or plug in it, or and creating relish dishes, or if you don't have a kitchen, you can't create the plates or the dishes with cut up vegetables. This slide's just kind of identifying all the different foodborne illnesses. I'm going to tell you, I don't study that slide too much. I worry about the prevention. I don't want to know what's happened. We've messed up if we're living in this slide. We don't want to get there. So sick employees, vomiting, diarrhea, fever, sore throats. Really, we should, if we haven't learned anything in the last couple of years, we want to avoid our person-to-person contact when we have any of these symptoms. Let's see. Allergens, there's something that you guys will be dealing with. Allergens is a lot of us handle product that, I think the next slide, eggs, milk, peanuts, tree nuts, fish, shellfish, soy, and wheat. You really should have a sign that says that you handle these products on your food, just so those people that are allergic, and say you were doing something before you came with something else, but you've been handling tree nuts, for example, and you haven't washed your hands, done a good job of washing your hands, you pass that on to somebody that's highly allergic. It does not take much to get them. It's the oils that's mostly the oils that stay to your fingers. I got a real quick, my previous life, I was actually in the Dairy Queen business. And I had a guy that kept coming in, and we used to make our shakes on mixers, and nowadays we wash between products, but when we used to, we would just spin it off and go from one to the next, and you just have a little bit of residue. This guy kept coming and says, I'm allergic to chocolate, you gotta make sure you wash it. I was pretty young still, and I didn't listen to him. Next thing I know, the guy's laying on the floor swelling up just off of what little bit of chocolate was left on that spindle, which pretty much looked clean to the eye. That there's enough there that caused the issue. So be really careful with what you're handling. The three types of hazards are biological, chemical, and physical. You know, there's some stuff on there that I see, fungi, mushrooms, even a lot of your vegetables, if you don't keep them in the proper condition, you can start molding and stuff on you. And once that happens, it's done. Chemicals, you guys all use chemicals, I bet, in the growing process. Again, we need to make sure that we wash them, or that you let your consumers know that they need to wash their veggies. And physical, that's things that's introduced to food. We shouldn't have much except for the food booths. There shouldn't be a real big opportunity for that. Good hygiene. So none of you play in dirt. I bet everybody's got great clean fingernails right now. So, you know, when you're handling the product, you really do need to try to wash up before you start serving the customer. Those of you that are food vendors, we need to dress accordingly. You need to have your hair pulled back. You should have a hat, visor, or hairnet on. And then there are certain requirements for the booths that we'll talk about. One of them's having a portable hand sink. So we make a makeshift sink for those that need it. We use a igloo water jug. We fill it with sanitized water, 50 to 100 parts per million. And we provide soap and a paper towel, and then a catch pan to catch it. So we still provide a hand sink, it's just a little makeshift. If you are a food vendor, you're serving a ready-to-eat food, you your hand needs to be gloved, or you need to be using a utensil so that you're not having bare hand contact with ready-to-eat food. We don't have anybody doing raw milk this year. Eggs, if you are an egg producer, you should make sure that you let the consumer know that they need to wash their eggs if you're not washing them. The consumer in today's world usually doesn't understand the difference between a farm fresh egg and one that's in a store. To them, an egg's an egg. So your chances of passing on a foodborne illness is just due to the lack of information that the consumer may have. Our danger zones from 135 to 41 degrees, so if you're serving a hot food, it needs to be kept at 135 or above. If you're serving something that needs to be refrigerated, 41 degrees or less. I'm just jumping through a lot of this because it deals more with the restaurant. Thermometers, if you are serving food, you do need to have a thermometer on site so we can verify. I bring mine in, but you should be able to know what temperature you're holding your product at. I believe in the cottage law, those of you that are making well, I don't believe I know. You're supposed to have a placard that states that your product is made in a kitchen that is not inspected, so the consumer knows that this is made out of the house. Something I haven't been pushing too hard, but it is something that is required in the cottage law. If you're doing stuff in your home kitchen, hopefully that we don't look like this. Okay, clean up. You're serving the public, so our kitchen should be pretty sanitary. We should wash everything down with a sanitizing solution. Using a bleach is my preferred. So if you want to get quaternary ammonia, that's fine. But 50 to 100 parts per million on your chlorine or bleach, 200 parts per million on your quaternary ammonia. If you do have a facility that requires dishwashing, wash, rinse, sanitize, and air dry, 3 compartments, 1, 2. Again, your mixtures, chlorine, 50 to 100 parts per million, quaternary ammonia, 200 parts per million. There's other sanitizers, but these are the 2 most common. All right, so the one thing that we do get to deal with is insects. Technically, if you're serving food, you're supposed to have a tent that is screened in, or your device is supposed to be enclosed except for the serving window. Now, we are pretty lenient on that in a temporary setup. When you go to street fairs, you don't see a lot of screening and stuff. But if it was a very buggy day, you should have the opportunity to screen up to kind of make things a little bit easier for you to handle the food. Any chemicals that you may have on site needs to be kept away and below any food product. So, do we have, how many food vendors do we have here that's only serve any produce? Got one back there? All right. Everybody doing cottage law, or do we have other items going?
Mine's full. You've already come to
Yeah.
my truck, so.
If you do want to get a kitchen that is an approved kitchen, just get a hold of me. I will help you kind of give you all the requirements of a kitchen. You can reach me at the health department, and you know, it's never as easy as a person thinks it should be. So the 2 things that I always get is barbecue or sauces and salsa. So We've had people that sold salsa, but it's been fresh, so they have a 7-day window from the time they make it to the time the consumer purchases it, and you have to sell it to the end consumer. Like, you can't wholesale it or third party sell it. But anything that requires canning of any nature, really, except for your jams and jellies, requires a special process. And you can get a hold of me and I can get you the information on that. That one form's got some information on the back of it on where to go. And University of K-State and University of Missouri, and I believe the University of Nebraska, all three kind of work together on that. I will tell you that the special process through the FDA, they don't recognize the difference between a small manufacturer and Libby's. It's all the same process, period. The equipment's just a little different, but the process is the same. All right, so that's a real quick version of the food safety. Any questions that you may have, speak up. I'm going to stay on the side over here for a little bit. Go ahead.
You said the words, if you wash your eggs, you need to tell the customer, or if you don't wash your eggs, I'm sorry, you need to tell the customer to wash them. Is there an option that we do not have to wash our eggs?
I'm not positive about that.
As long as there's not too many dirty ones, I mean, then there's.
They can leave the film on the egg, right, as long as it's not covered in a lot
Yeah, I
of.
don't have.
I don't know, there's no, it's in that, you have to wash.
You have to wash.
You're required, yeah.
You have to wash the eggs.
It's in the.
Well, the reason I went his direction is because that's a USDA.
Candle.
Requirements too, I mean, you know, they are.
And labeled, yeah, they have to be labeled and dated.
Yeah,
Well,
said some
Because
words.
last
That's why I referred that immediately.
We're like, we
because-
watched all those eggs.
That's probably more of the help, we just do the, we got some of our cards, like they gave me one,
Some up
you
here.
can call them and have our office, like she said, how to do
Is there a,
Sorry, Marley.
I just like busted it in the picture.
Is there like a paper on the process of washing, like what the, because they say wash it, sanitize, is there like a paper stating?
You can find it on the Missouri Department of Ag website. All that information's there. Missouri requires you to wash it under running water.
Okay.
They don't have to have any
And they don't say
sanitizer.
like any specific.
And then they have to be
cleaner.
handled also.
They have to be
They have to
handled,
be
weighed.
handled,
Weighed and graded.
and graded, and then you have to pack them into clean cartons.
Right.
That was new, but I think you can use
You can
used
use
again
but
as long
you
as they're
have
clean.
you have to mark out anything that doesn't pertain to
To
your
your
eggs.
farm, and then you have to label them with your
And your
farm, address,
That's
phone
License number, all
and
that.
date of which they were laid.
Right.
Yes.
He was saying there's like a calendar for that.
like the Julian calendar.
Julian.
Yeah, there is a
calendar.
Julian calendar, or, because I didn't look at the Julian calendar all the time, I just put June 1st,
The actual
2022,
date.
the actual date, like I didn't, yeah, and get
Yeah,
specific.
right,
But
okay.
that all, and then they all have to be kept in a cooler at a certain temp too, which I don't know what the temp is on that specifically.
Eggs, I believe, are 45 degrees or less, but in the restaurant environment, everything's pretty much 41 degrees.
Okay,
Eggs
so
still
they have to be kept that
45.
way while anytime after you
Wash.
and pack, yes,
Right.
exactly.
Closer to 40 or, you know, between 35.
Well, 41 or less is the food, but I was thinking eggs and milk still had that 45 on them. Yes.
So, somebody just said that you need to write the date that they were laid. I did a training with, MU put it on, and they had a USDA person on there, and they said that the day that it was packaged is
That's what-
Maybe, yeah.
When you put it in the carton.
And it could be, I guess I was just thinking that.
I wasn't trying to.
I don't wanna hold on to the egg for 2 weeks and then package it and say, here's the date, I guess is where.
Unless you wait a long time.
Yeah.
Maybe it has a date on it.
Any other questions?
You mentioned earlier about a placard for foods that are not made in a certified kitchen. I'm not aware that we have had placards put out. It's always been labeled on the product itself.
We do that.
So as long as it's labeled on the product that this was not made in a kitchen that was certified by the state of Missouri, then we can omit the placard from their tables.
Oh.
Correct?
We've had vendors do it both ways.